السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي واجعل لي وزيرا من أهلي هارون أخي اشدد به أزري ويشرك في أمري كي نسبحك كثيرا ونذكرك كثيرا إنك كنت بنا بصيرا. لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. رب اجعلني مقيم الصلاة ومن ذريتي ربنا وتقبل دعاء. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. رب لا تذرني فردا وأنت خير الوارثين. وصل اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. آمين. Everyone, welcome. And we are, inshallah, continuing to study the story of Job, the prophet Job, Ayub in Arabic, in the Quran. And we have been studying which kind of lessons we are going to get. We are going to take away from this story told in the Quran. And these lessons are directly related to our life. Last week, we discussed the first point, the last piece of first point, and we now, inshallah, going to study the second point. But before this, we would like to hear our friend Anne to summarize us what we have done last week and introduce today's discussion, inshallah.
Inshallah, thank you. So last week we talked about how Job's illness is given in the Quran as a physical illness. But Nursi understands that the physical pain of this unknown person can be transformed into a useful conclusion. That is to say, our reality is that we don't own our own bodies. Furthermore, God gives us pain. God gives me pain, and I am created to dislike pain. So the question is, what is the mercy in this? And at some point, the pain then starts penetrating the heart, and we are in Job's situation. So Quran gives us the guidance for solving this problem or managing this problem. A Nursi actually understands that we don't need to wait until an actual illness. And in a way, he claims or explains that we are already ill. Why? Because who can claim in this world that we are sinless? And what is the effect of that? Unless the sin is obliterated by seeking forgiveness, the worm will turn into a snake that gnaws the heart. So Nursi's claim is that within each sin is a path leading to unbelief, because sin penetrating to the heart means not seeing the mercy in the pain. We also talked about how there is a body of scholars who believe that belief is action. But at the same time, wrong action doesn't mean disbelief if it's the result of neglect. And another body of scholars claims that belief is not action. But Nursey, the important point here is that Nursey says there is a link between belief and action, in which one neglect plus another neglect plus another neglect explains within each sin is a path leading to unbelief, which he explains in the point in the first point. Um, so he goes into detail about shameful sin and major sin. And I think it's important to understand that not a strict definition of what is shameful, what is major, because we talked about how this depends on the person. A faulty prayer or missing prayer may be a major sin for one person and not for another. So there are no actual strict categories. Um, and then Nursey talks about furthermore about the psychological explanation of sin, whether it's major or shameful. Um, in the beginning of sort of the psychological explanation, the individual, rather than seeking forgiveness, wants that the angels not record his deeds. Please don't record my deeds. I committed a sin, so please don't record my deeds. And then another sin um, would desire, that person would desire non-existence of hell. And finally, in the psychological explanation of sin, the desire for non-existence of hell turns into desire for no duty of worship. So he concludes that fleeing from the bite of a gnat, he welcomes the bite of a snake. And then we concluded this part one with Surah 83, ayat 14, in which uh, there's various translations, but in my notes, I have the hearts are stained not by sinning, but by not asking for forgiveness. And that was the conclusion of the first point of last week's discussion.
Thank you. Beautiful. Main points are just pinpointed right. Thank you very much. Perfect.
My pleasure.
So that's what we talked last week. This week we are going to talk about, or the text is going to talk about something from different perspective, analyzing our own. Let me find out this. Now, we have inner illnesses of the spirit and heart. If our inner being were to be turned outward, and our outer being turned inward, we would appear more wounded and diseased than Job. Neglects, sinning, not being conscious of my reality, not being conscious of my creator. So all these shortcomings, that's put it, shortcomings are in fact our spiritual illnesses. So we have to go to a doctor and ask for prescription. How can I solve this? It means we have to go back to very, very beginning Rabbi inni messeni yadurru wa anta arhamur rahimin. We have to start a journey, a reflection journey to understand that, oh my Lord and sustainer, indeed harm has afflicted me. We have to admit that. We have, whatever the amount is, full of shortcomings. Everybody knows this and aware of it. No one can claim to be perfect. But the problem is we have to look for the evidence, a way of understanding that we should make sure you are the speaking to God. You are the most merciful of the merciful. Whatever you imagine to be merciful, you may say, uh, my mother is, my parents are, my children are, my relatives are merciful. You can imagine many other friends and some other institutions, charity organizations, for example, they are merciful activities. But uh, we have to understand the creator of these people, creator of the feelings of mercy in these people, are the one who is the source of mercy. That is what we have to try to understand this. Of course, in order to uh, start the journey, investigation, to understand that my creator is the most merciful of whatever the people or things I imagine to be merciful, the source of the creation of mercy. So I have to investigate who is the creator of this mercy and who is the creator of the need for mercy, merciful relationship, merciful activities. Who is the creator of this need? Then I need a merciful owner, protector, guarantor for my existence, for my life. Who is this? Who can be? It is easy to say God, but in practical life, we forgot. When we suffer from something, we start complaining. So that is why we have to fortify, we have to confirm our belief by collecting more and more uh, data, evidence, inshallah. This is what we are doing here. Mhm. Now, inshallah, we can start the second perspective. How are we going to obtain or attain this certainty in our belief that my creator is the source of mercy? All the things that I see here mercifully taking place are from him. And he is the one, the creator of the whole universe. And he provided everything for me. He gave a purpose to my life, and he is preparing me for an eternal life where I will be practicing, experiencing his mercy infinitely at the best form. How can I make sure this? So we are doing this training here. Shall we read the second point, or if anybody
Yes,
wants?
yes, we should start.
Yep.
Okay, second point. Bismillah. As was explained concerning the meaning of divine determining, known as destiny in the 26th word, men have no right to complain in the case of disasters and illness for the following three reasons. First reason, God Most High has made the garment of the body with which he has clothed man, a manifestation of his art. He has made man to be a model on which he cuts, trims, alters, and changes the garment of the body, thus displaying the manifestations of various of his names. Just as the name of healer makes it necessary that illness should exist, so too the name of provider requires that hunger should exist, and so on.
So there is an expression here.
Oh, yes, sorry. The Lord of all dominion has disposal over his dominion as he wishes.
That is his property. That is the first reason. Just the start. First of all, wow, excuse me. Anyone, Anne, would you like to make or tell us what your takeaway from this paragraph?
Well, I love the analogy of man being a model on which he cuts, trims, alters, and changes the garments. So there's nothing to say that the garment of the body uh, has to always be arrayed in perfection, because that body displays the manifestations of his names, just as Nursey says here. And I never thought about that before. Just as we have a healer, then we would necessarily need to have an illness. And if we have hunger, if we have a provider, then it necessarily means that we should have hunger. So it's a very interesting perspective that I never thought about before.
Excellent point, because we think that that's my body, huh? Somebody is operating on my body. Come on, go away. This is my body. That's what we think. If something and everything, if everything works, we never have a question. That is human. It's very, Quran says human beings are very nankör. Now, it is very interesting. I mean, Allah teaches us that I know how I created you. Then I'm looking at the number of the verse. Now, إن الإنسان لربه لكنود وإنه على ذلك ليس. Very interesting. Let me share this eye. It is very interesting. Just discloses our secret. Tells us, I know who you are, but it doesn't mean that accusation. He is just. God says, look, I know you are, so I treat you accordingly and I teach you, I educate you within your own reality as I created it. Now, uh, okay, very good. MashaAllah. Verse number is very easy to remember. Very easy to remember. 100. So, come here. 100. It's very, I love this reading. It makes me feel somehow comfortable and feel as if I'm going to laugh at myself. Oh my God. Oh my God. You are telling me who I am. I know you know me. So here it is. Now, إن الإنسان لربه لكنود. Now, surely, or man is ungrateful to his Lord. Surely mankind, human beings are ungrateful to their Lord. That's the translation. And also, وَإِنَّهُ عَلَى ذَلِكَ لَشَهِيدٌ. To this, and to this, They themselves, he himself bears witness indeed. And they certainly attest to it. It was witnesses. We know that I am weak. Non-cure. Non-cure, it is called. Ungrateful. Like cannot. And ungrateful, but resistantly ungrateful. The reason why we are ungrateful, it's very interesting because when, uh, as the example says, I have my spirit, and the spirit has been clothed with a dress, body. Now, spirit, to utilize the spirit is left to my hand. Let's understand ourselves. We have to know who we are, how we are constituted in our being. Our spirit is me. My body is the cloth for my spirit. Now, if I'm not very conscious, which is almost always I am not, so uh, unconscious, it means I don't notice that this body is a cloth given to me to communicate through this body with the rest of the universe, and this body is the consists of tools, so that I will use these tools in order to understand and analyze by using my intelligence, consciousness, what is going on, what is the meaning of this world. So this body is the first thing that I am interested in. Why? Because it is my tool. I have to use it. I know I think, I'm talking for myself. I know I think, for example, I have some organs. I have lots of things are going on in my body. Amazing, miraculous creation. It's just body, material body. Miraculous creation. I am, but as long as I don't have a headache, I'm not aware what's going on in my head. As long as I don't have any blood pressure or anything, well, I don't bother. Whether I have a heart, it is working for me. I don't question where did I get it? No, it is my body, isn't it? So if someone attacks your body, you say, hey, he cut my hand, for example, or he damaged my leg, for example. But the text says, hey, be careful. When everything works, you never question, man, ungrateful man, how come that I have been given these tools? Where did I get it? It is my home. Who brought? Am I paying any rent to it? No. So I'm using it as it is given to me. I never question who gave it, how come it exists. I just say, that's how I am. But when I have some problems, I start questioning. Who is playing with my home? Who is this giving to me pain, problems, whatever it is? Some part of, well, God forbid, may not work. That is how we are ungrateful when we are given the all precious existence. Of course, spirit is unimaginable value-wise. Body is temporary home. We are the rentals, tenants in our body. But we don't really question neither the spirit nor the body. How come I exist as I am now? When there is something troubling me, I start questioning that. That is what I have to understand. Why the one who gave me my body from time to time gives me hunger? Enjoy what is created for me so that I will question who is providing all the things that I need and enjoy. Smelling it, taste is enjoy. Such feeling satisfied is enjoyable feeling. Somebody is really manipulating my body, the owner of the body. I have no complaint. I have no right to complain. Why are you changing and playing with my home? Because he is the owner. He has created your body for you to be used as your home in order to teach you something, educate your spirit for something. If you just neglect it, I have to just remind you at the end, I will show you that this body is not yours. Definitely. So from now on, I know my body is, my spirit is just going to be split off my body, and I will be one side, my body will be in another side in the grave. That was really not my body. Of course, before we die, we know this. We see the examples out there. Everything dies. So it is a beautiful way of educating or giving the opportunity for me to educate myself, my spirit. So we have to understand that we are not the owner of the body, and owner of the body has every right to take it away from me, to keep it, to sometimes change the window or eyes, or some hearing facilities, telephone sometimes cuts off, so that I will understand. Oh, this is not my body. Somebody else is operating on it. So that I will say, who is the one who gave this to me? Who is the one who blessed this to me? So this is the beautiful conclusion of the first reason. The Lord of everything, all dominion, has disposed over his dominion, has disposal over his dominion as he wished. That's not your property. That is his property. The owner of the house, you are the tenant. The owner of the house, of course, we make a contract. We say that our tenant, landlord cannot take me away. But we cannot make contract with the owner of our home body. So it is totally under his property, and we are just given. We are not paying any rent. It is interesting. Any rent. It is taken care of. Everything works perfectly. Heart, I don't know, lungs and brain and this kidneys, liver system, digestive system, everything works perfectly. He's not charging anything because he is the one who doesn't need to be charged. And of course, there is then wisdom in its creation. Do we have to understand that if something happens to me, I have no right to complain? That is the conclusion. I have to think, what is the owner of the house is trying to teach me? Definitely, he is the most merciful of the merciful. He gave me freely. If he wasn't merciful, he wouldn't give me freely. Why should he? So my existence is mercy, just a pure mercy, manifestation of mercy. It's beautiful as answered, We don't really pay attention to these aspects of our reality. I don't. Maybe you do, but I don't. I just take it for granted if something else. Oh, why is it itching here? Complaining. Okay, that's what I have to say. If anybody else, go ahead. Otherwise, we can continue reading. What do you think? Huh?
Yes, let's go on. Second reason. Second reason. It is life-led. Someone says that
We can't hear her.
really am I
I think she is busy.
my audio is on and I have full internet connection. Is anybody else having problems?
We can now. You're good.
Okay, great. All right. So let me I'll start over again. Second reason. It is by means of disasters and sicknesses that life is refined, perfected, strengthened, and advanced, that it yields results, attains perfection, and fulfills its own purpose. Life led monotonously on the couch of ease and comfort resembles not so much the pure good that is being as the pure evil that is non being. It tends, in fact, in that direction.
Yeah, your understanding of the paragraph.
Um, well, I particularly enjoyed reading Life Led Monotonously on the Couch of Ease and Comfort. Um, doesn't yield good, but in fact, it's my take on it was it yields evil because it's not reality. You're not living in the reality. Um, and it's kind of contradictory to how many of us think or wish that we always want to be comfortable. We don't want to have disasters. And this passage sort of makes it clear that um, that's that's not the reality. Not that we want to have disasters and sicknesses, but those disasters and sicknesses actually fulfill a purpose, which we often don't think have a purpose at all. Very interesting passage.
If somebody doesn't move, but not like an old man like me, so when you get reach a certain age, you don't want to move around, just sit there. But it is the time for expectation of death. That is what I am here for now. But a young man, energetic man, can you keep a child from acting, doing something at all? Can you just make the child sit there? For example, the most boring thing for the children are to sit in the car, in the car chair, and tied up with belt. This they don't like it at all. They want to move complete. Well, that is child want to move, energetic. While they are moving, doing lots of course, playing, they are learning. Look, action produces something. They are learning how to deal with the world, preparing themselves for the future. Young men, energetic men, nor women, doesn't matter. Can you just ask this person, sit in your room 24 hours and do nothing? Can they? Or as soon as, I will make an imitation now, as soon as they have an opportunity, but this one, doing something, searching, listening, whatever, they have to do because doing nothing, as the text says, resembles just non-existence. You don't do anything as if you don't exist. By doing actions, you experience your existence. That is what I can do. And also, have you ever seen any person who has worked, and at the end he got an honor degree, graduated from the college? How enjoyable moment he is experiencing now. Success. He has been doing actions. That is why he enjoyed it. We have to understand that there must be some sort of things that we need, as described here, by means of disasters and sicknesses, that life is refined, perfected, strengthened, advanced. For what? To fulfill its own purpose. The purpose of existence is to realize who we are and who our owner is. What are we doing here? So I need to experience the need. I have to do something in order to satisfy some of my needs. Through doing these actions, I understand, I learned that I am the needy one, and somebody or my creator is providing what I need, so that I will become more and more closer and closer to the recognition process of my creator. That is the purpose of my existence. That, see, some things are okay. That's it. Okay. All right. And I thought some comments are there. Yeah, there wasn't. So we understand that action, it looks like, resembles existence. Now, not acting looks like as if I don't exist, non-existence. So existence is pure good. Non-existence is pure evil. So we need to be active. In order to be active, we need to be needy of something. So if I am ill, for example, sickness gives the, or there may be something in my home or in the place where I am, or my properties needs to be repaired, or new things need to be bought, and all this needs, so that I act to fulfill my needs. How beautiful to be needy, as the saying narrated from the Prophet ﷺ, saying, Fakri, very concise, beautiful saying. Fakri, Fakhri. It is also, musical. My poverty, my neediness is my proud. I am proud of myself to be needy. Which kind of language is it? I am proud of to be needy. What does it mean? Can you imagine? I feel that I don't need anything. I am perfect. That's it. No illness, nothing. Everything is provided for me. I don't have to move around at all. Just sit here. I feel I don't exist as if no, this is not the life that when we are successful in achieving something in our life, that is what makes me feel happy with my life. So we have to understand that we need to be in need of something so that we have to act. And then through this action, we have to fulfill the purpose of our existence. That is another aspect. Okay. Third aspect, or anyone else, questions, comments, we can read.
Okay, third reason. This worldly realm is the field of education by facing difficulties, the abode of service. It is not the place of pleasure, reward, and requital. Considering then that it is the abode of service and place of worship, sicknesses and misfortune, as long as they do not affect belief and are patiently endured, conform fully to service and worship, and even strengthen it. Since they make each hour's worship equivalent to that of a day, one should offer thanks instead of complaining.
Yeah, yeah. Ready to listen to you. What you got it from the text.
Well, um, it reiterates beautifully what we've been talking about in these classes for years, which is that the world, the universe, is to educate us. Um, and according to Nursi, it's also the abode of service. Um, so uh, I think many people don't think like this, that uh, many people think that the earthly realm is a place of pleasure, reward, and requital. They don't think of it as the opposite of that. They think, oh, I should, you hear phrases all the time, and we've talked about this before, of people who say, oh, live for the day, you only live once. Um, you know, you're here for a short time, so live it up. Um, and I think that's a predominant view in our secular culture. And this is saying it's totally the opposite. And Nursi gives a very clear reason for that, that it strengthens our belief. It's beautiful.
So thank you very much. Thank you. I would like to talk about this word, field of education. Usually, those people who understand the Quran literally and translate it literally, they say the field of test, examine. But when we look at the test examination, as we discussed in the second reason, for example, disasters are created, sicknesses are created. Is it for the test, or is it for educating me, fulfilling the purpose of my existence. That is why I always avoid using test. Although literally dictionary meaning is test, but within the context of the Quran, whole Quran, it means God doesn't need to know who I am. He is my creator at every moment. So it's not really testing me, but giving me the opportunity to educate myself. That is the way of God's testing, not the teacher in an institution, education institution in the world uh, applies testing. God's testing is for a purpose. There is a wisdom. That is the purpose of educating me, preparing me for my purpose of existence to be fulfilled. So that is one point. Another point is this word is the abode of worship and place of worship and service, pardon. Service and worship. Now, what do they mean? We have to understand what do they mean. Now, service. Are we serving somebody? I will always talk about this word because they are all misunderstood. We are the servants of God. Are we serving God? What are we doing for God? Does he need anything? Does he need my help? So we have to understand, question again and again, because it is very, very widely used in the Muslim community, believers community. Even the Christendom use the service, morning service. Are they serving somebody? No, no one. The Muslims, Christians, Jews, those people are doing something. Maybe even these Far Eastern traditions, a kind of religious things. They do something, but are they really serving somebody? Or the Muslims and the Christian Jews, are they serving God? We have to know that this word is service, is explained and not addition. No, that means, let me put it here, that is service, that is place of worship. Explaining that service means worship. Worshipping what? God. We understand that. What does worship mean? To acknowledge and submit your acknowledgement to the one whom you are acknowledging. Who are you acknowledging? That's my honor. I acknowledge you. That is worship. That's why praying is worship, acknowledgement. It is morning now. The morning is created by you. I am very grateful. Expressing myself. He created the universe and the morning. He doesn't need me any service. I'm not going to clean the air, atmosphere for him. Just acknowledging. So service means serving, in fact, myself in order to fulfill the purpose of my existence so that I understand my Creator will be happy with me. How? Because He created me to fulfill this mission of acknowledgement, worship, and if I do it, He will say, okay, it was worth to create this person as a human being. He is doing it. I understand that God is happy with me. But does God need to be happy because I will do it, and He will be angry because I want to worship Him? No, He is teaching me. We have to understand the language of the Quran. When God says, I am angry with those people, it means a way of teaching. God is speaking. It means if you do this, whatever is described there, you will go against your nature. It means you will contradict the purpose I have created you. So, in a way, that teaching me as I understand as a human being, that is, you don't like it. That's why this aim. For example, if you prepare something, let's make a simple example. If you prepare a delicious food for a needy, hungry person, and he needs food, that is obvious. You give him, he doesn't eat, and throw it away. What do you do? Do you feel happy? I don't. I don't. I think that is my feeling. This feeling is given to me by my Creator in order to understand that. What if I do the same thing to my Creator? I will be doing something wrong. That is why God says, otherwise, God doesn't need to be entertained by my worshiping Him, acknowledging Him. He is not like the king or some authorities. They are human beings. They are needy. They need, if someone says, everybody appreciated me, I am happy, you need it. But the Creator is the one who teaches you how to behave. We have to behave in such a way that when I do something, I will be happy with it. It means my Creator gave me the criterion to understand this is a good action. That's what we have to read, how we have to read the Quran. Otherwise, we will say, God is angry with me. Why he is angry with you? He's just teaching you that what you are doing is not right. You are harming yourself. That is how we should understand this. So, this service means worship. Worship means acknowledgement. Acknowledgement means to fulfill my purpose. Fulfilling my purpose means I am happy. I am successful in my education. I learned something useful. That is what that's how our reasoning should work, inshallah. So while we are doing this, we have to understand that I have shared some verses with you. وَأَنْ لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. This one. Now, all right. Let me make it a bit bigger so that we can. وَإِنْ لَيْسَ لِلْإِنسَانِ إِلَّا مَا سَعَى. The man will only have what he is striving for, what he has worked for. God is not going to punish me for anything. When the school administration, well, I just barely passed the class and gave me a very low degree now. Not a good degree, just saying that your GPA, I think it is general, how do you say? Uh,
Grade point average.
yeah, grade point average, GPA. Yeah, thank you very much. So, average is this. What? 5.2 or what? So, do you think the administration is punishing you, or administration is just stating what you are, who you are? That's it. Whatever you do, you will get the result yourself. If you don't do it, you will lose it. If you do it, you will gain it. God doesn't punish anyone, although People may hear, oh, everybody says that God really is going to punish you if you don't believe in Him, if you don't do your duties, if you don't behave on the right way, in the right way. This language is very much in the air. And Muslims love to speak in this way. By the way, Jews also the same, but Christians avoid from. That's culture. But I don't think we should understand this literally. Quran is the speech of God. Now, as the teacher says, this is the syllabus. If you don't attend the classes more than, let's say, 20%, or yeah, then your grade will be lowered, downgraded 10%, for example. And that is what the teacher is telling me what to do. He's not threatening me. Yeah, just I have to with an instruction. That's why we have to look at our responsibility. The teacher is telling me my position is why does he say that attending the class is necessary? Not imposing me, just reminding me. If you attend the class, you will pass. If you don't, you won't pass. That's telling me, then giving me instruction, what I should do. That's it. So another one, this one, let me see what this verse says again. Oh, this one. يا أيها الناس اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. O humanity, worship your Lord who created you and those before you so that you may become mindful of Him. Mindful. So you will understand who you are, who is really your Lord is. That is what the purpose of worship is. While I am performing my worship, I am not entertaining my Creator. I am just becoming aware of who my Lord is. That is the point. Who my Lord is. This is the point in worship, not entertainment of God. That's why some, absent-minded people ask the question, why God asks us to worship Him? Does He need it? It's a very simple question, isn't it? But unfortunately, many young people especially ask this, old ones as well, but especially young ones, because they don't want to really feel some sort of responsibility for their life. So they keep saying that, does God need my worship? Why? Which kind of God He is? But you are not doing anything just so that so that you may become mindful of Him. Well, you have to realize who your Lord is. That is why that's your benefit. Otherwise, you will be living here without any owner, any creator, purposeless, meaningless life. So the last one, this one here. Now, وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون ما يريد منهم من رزق وما يريد أن يطعمون إن الله هو الرزاق ذو القوة المتين. It's beautiful, beautiful. That explaining everything. Here it is. Let me bold it and make it even bigger so we can read it well. I created jinn and mankind only to worship me. Oh, all right. Mostly, especially Muslim public speakers love this piece and stop there. So, فما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون. Okay, we are created only to worship him. But there is something more in the verse. I want no provision from them. I'm not, I'm not in need of entertainment. Just for yourself. You will worship so that you will understand who you are. And you have an owner who is the owner of the universe. Entertain your existence. Don't live a meaningless life. Nor do I want them to feed me. Look at this language. When I read it, and yut'amuni, but are you going to give me something? Feeding me? What are you doing while we are worshiping? Unfortunately, I am sure you must have heard this part of verse. I created jinn and mankind only to worship me. Maybe if you are involved in Muslim social activities 100 times. But I don't think you have heard the rest of the verse. What's a very strange mentality prevalent in Muslim culture. Rather than saying the first one, you have to quote this part, second part. God doesn't want no provision from us, nor does he want uh, us to feed him. That's what Quran says. When you worship, you are not feeding God. You are not really, how do you say, appreciating God. You are wonderful, wonderful. So that he will say, oh, yeah, I am a wonderful one, like a needy human being, or really some people in the power. So he says, God is the provider, and God is the one who is the Lord of power and ever mighty. Everything comes from him. You are not feeding him. So I think we should read this part, second part of the same verse. It is interesting. Always, and that is why we are created to worship him. Not because he needs it. It becomes easy to understand. We make religion difficult to understand. I am a bit angry with this kind of culture. That is why I get a bit excited and speak about it a lot. Inshallah, next time when you speak to somebody, you have to say that God says in the Quran, I want no provision from them, from human beings, nor do I want human beings to feed me. I am the one who is the provider, everything, the Lord of power, and I am ever mighty. Almost the speaker, the creator of the universe is speaking. So my friend, why don't you worship him, acknowledge him as he is? This one must be narrated if needed at the end. If needed at the end. If the person is ready to understand the second part of the verse. That is what, inshallah, we need to learn how to read the Quran step by step, bit by bit. Inshallah, every day, 1, 2 verse in between our discussions to learn the beauty of the Quran, inshallah. I think the time is really up and we have to stop here. Because it is important here, there are two kinds of worship that we are going to talk about it in the following paragraphs, inshallah. Oh, you see? Yeah. Shall we stop here?
Yes, this is a good place to stop.
Yeah, because uh, he's going to explain two kinds of worship. That is interesting. Inshallah, next week. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر